Hello everyone, my name is Eric and welcome to Teacher's Place. So before we get anything going here, before I start with my video, I would like to introduce myself. I'm a second year teacher, so I've been teaching for 2 years now, and I've taught in the UK in my first year, and now I'm currently teaching in China, specifically Shenyang in the Liaoning province. And I wanted to get this video out today just because I wanted to start a YouTube channel. That's been a goal of mine this year, and as well because of the recent virus outbreak, the coronavirus, for those of you who are living under a rock. I would like to make sure that everyone understands what's going on here in China as well as the rest of the world. So, like I said, I'm a year 2 teacher. So I've been teaching for the 2 years now, and I am teaching in a private preschool here in China. So I'm teaching under the guise of Maple Bear Academy. So Maple Bear is an international school. You can find them all over the world, specifically here in China as well. So in China, there's a few locations. The current employer that we have owns 2 of them in Shenyang. So I actually work at both locations. At the first location, the one that's about 5 minutes away from home, I teach senior kindergarten. And in the other campus, I teach toddlers. So the range is between 2 years old all the way up to 5, 6 years old. This is my second year, so I don't have too much experience, but I would like to grow in terms of that experience with the rest of you. So this is why I'm putting out that YouTube channel. So this channel is going to be focused around different activities, crafts, a lot of things like that. And as well, we're going to be focusing on maybe a little bit more vlogging style too. One of the special things that I can do in China here, unlike most other school districts and other countries, is that I can actually videotape students and myself during class. So you'll get a little bit of a unique perspective. Because the school wants to promote Maple Bear Academy, because it's a private school, they're a little bit more lenient with the practices of videotaping and things like that. I'm currently a teacher, like I said, in the Liaoning province in Shenyang, and the coronavirus has affected us in a few ways here. And one of the ways it's actually affected us is right now we are stuck here. So not in terms of not being allowed to leave, but in terms of being stuck in our homes. We're teachers and we are still working, we are still teaching, but for now the school is closed and we've been releasing videos so far, myself and my partner. I've been doing reading for my toddlers and my SKs, and my partner has been doing crafts for her JKs and her nursery students. So we've been doing that for the last 2 weeks now, and we're actually going to go into our 3rd week here because China's actually still hasn't opened up their schools, and some schools in some provinces are closed for a very long time. So some schools are actually closed until May of this year. Cities like Beijing, their schools are closed until May, and we actually have some friends in Beijing that work there, and in their school, they're actually closed until May, so they return back home. Our school and the schools in Shenyang haven't officially closed for that long. They're kind of doing it week by week by week, so we're still stuck here for a little bit. So we're just waiting to see what happens with the virus. So one of the first things I wanted to tell you about is my experience with the virus. I am not sick, neither is my partner. We don't know anyone that has the virus. We're in Shenyang, which is pretty far away from the virus, from its original province in Hubei and the city Wuhan. But we have been affected by this virus, sadly, in a few ways. So the first way, obviously, is right now we are stuck at home, like I said. This morning, I went to go get groceries, and the only thing that you can find open right now is really grocery stores and public things, like if you need anything from the government, things like that, those are working. But other than that, there's really nothing going on, and for a good reason. The Chinese government has actually canceled all public events. They've asked everyone not to host them. They've canceled anything with large gatherings. They've asked all kind of non-essential things to close down because they don't want to spread the virus. And it's, worked out in their favor, but obviously it's a little bit boring to sit at home all day. So that's one of the ways we've actually been affected by the virus. Another way we've been affected by the virus is it really screwed up our plans. We were actually on a trip in China when all of this happened. So if you don't know, Chinese New Year just passed, January 24th to just yesterday actually, so February 8th I believe. So February 8th is their final day for Chinese New Year, and the virus actually screwed our trip up completely. We were traveling from Shenyang to Kunming, from Kunming to Lijiang, and then from Lijiang we were going to hike from Tiger Leaping Gorge all the way to Shangri-la. This was supposed to take us a week in total, including coming all the way back to Shenyang. And when we started January 24th, we were immediately hit with a little bit of a brick wall. Our flight from Shenyang actually had a layover in Wuhan, which is a big deal, again, because it's the originating city of the virus. So a day prior, when we realized that all of this was going on, we called the airline and we called the website that we booked through, and they said that our flight was not delayed and it was perfectly on time and there was nothing happening with our flight, so we were still good to go, which we were a little bit skeptical of, but we trusted them for that day. But the next day, January 23rd, 24th, when we were about to fly out, we noticed that things had gotten a little bit worse. So when we called the website that we had booked through, they actually said, no, it's fine, don't worry, nothing has happened. But when we called the airline, they said, no, your flight is canceled, you need to book a different flight. We called the website again, they said, oh, sorry, we didn't get any response from them, but we noticed that your flight is canceled now, so we're going to refund you the flight, we're going to book you a different flight. So everything kind of changed, and we flew out a little bit earlier actually than we were supposed to, which was nice because we started our trip a little bit earlier, and that was fine. And when we got to Kunming, we took a bus, essentially the day after we landed, from Kunming to Lijiang. And Lijiang, if you've never been, it's absolutely gorgeous. There's an old city there, and it has beautiful architecture. It's old school Chinese architecture, and the city is just wonderful. There's a lot of small, narrow streets to walk through. There's a lot of beautiful artwork there. There's a lot of different hostels, hotels, and accommodations there if you'd like to stay there, and lots of different things to do. But we kind of noticed that it was a little bit empty. We realized this because, some of the shops, especially in the beginning of the city, were closed. So we were kind of wandering through, and we found some places that were still open. And when you get really into the middle of the city, it's really open. There's a lot of different shops there. There's a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of places to sit. In fact, every place, especially even in the winter, to sit outside, which is a little bit strange for us, but it is warm there. It's about 10-15 degrees there by midday, so it was fine. But we were planning on going from Kunming to Lijiang, and then again Lijiang to Tiger Leaping Gorge to Shangri-La. So we asked our hostel to book us a bus from Lijiang to the beginning of Tiger Leaping Gorge, which is about 3-4 hour bus ride. They said, yeah, no problem, we do it all the time. And they called the service, and they actually said that there were no buses running, which was a little bit strange. So we called our hostel that we had booked in Tiger Leaping Gorge, and they actually said that Tiger Leaping Gorge is completely closed. A wide space hiking area that, there's really no gatherings there, is completely closed. So we were kind of shocked, and we had our plans completely screwed up from there. We couldn't go to Tiger Leaping Gorge, which is essentially the whole reason why we went. And we had to skip it because obviously we couldn't get any accommodations there, and we couldn't even get through there. So that was the first half. The second half, the reason why it screwed our trip up, is because we attempted to go straight from Lijiang to Shangri-La. And from Lijiang to Shangri-La, it's a couple hour bus ride, not a really big deal. It's pretty cheap. It's about 40 to 50 yuan from where we started off to Shangri-La per person. And we got the bus, we bought the bus tickets, we waited a day because it was the next day, and we started our trip on the bus. And 5 minutes into our trip on the bus, we get a phone call, or the bus driver, gets a phone call from the bus service, and we do a U-turn. And when we get back to the bus station, anyone who wasn't a resident of Shangri-La, who didn't have their residency papers to prove that they lived there, was immediately kicked off the bus, and that bus left without us, and we got a refund, and that was the end of that. So because our trip got screwed up so royally, and we didn't get to go to Shangri-La, we didn't get to hike through Tiger Leaping Gorge, we cut our losses short, and we decided to scrap the whole trip. And instead of having a week-long trip, our trip lasted about 4 or 5 days altogether. Luckily and thankfully for the Chinese government, they did say to all the airlines, they asked them to make sure that if anyone is canceling a trip, or if anyone asks for a refund or change flight, to accommodate them and to refund them 100% of the money. So we didn't actually lose anything in terms of value when we had to cancel our flight and then rebook a different flight from Kunming all the way back to Shenyang. So that's really not an issue there. Well, that's the two ways that the virus has really screwed us over. So we haven't really seen any of our kids for the past couple of weeks. We haven't gotten on our trip. So that's the two ways the virus has screwed us up. So after all of this, we came back home. We're currently, again, working on our videos, and we're stuck here. So we've just been kind of going stir crazy, watching lots and lots of YouTube videos, lots and lots of Netflix, seeing what's been going on in the news. And they've been pretty forthcoming with the information that we've had so far. So far about, I think it's about 1,000 people roughly have died, and about 40,000 people have the virus. Those numbers are obviously just off the top of my head, and they do change from day to day. So please look at the video, look at when it was posted. Please don't follow along from here. And if you're watching this video a month from now, don't assume that those numbers are the same. It's really kind of widespread right now, but there's no reason to panic. And I will post a couple of articles and a couple of videos from YouTubers that explain what's going on with the virus and why there's no reason to be panicking currently. There is reason to be aware, obviously. You need to make sure that you are keeping up with the information, and you need to make sure that you're getting it from reputable sources as well. Because a lot of places posting not so reputable things, and that's a big issue right now because panic ensues. So that's two things that I just kind of want to leave you with before I go with this video. So again, please make sure you're safe. Please make sure you are aware, but please don't panic, and please don't be afraid to go anywhere just because of the virus. There are things you could do to take preventative measures. Make sure that you have hand sanitizer with you. Make sure you wash your hands in warm water for at least 30 seconds. Make sure you are layering yourself up with clothing as well. And when you take off that clothing, make sure you don't kind of go across the house or the apartment and lay on it everywhere. If you are outside for an extended period of time, make sure you're not going to any crowded spaces as well for too long period of time, because that is a way that you could transfer the virus as well. Just those things to keep in mind as you're going. I think that's the end of the video for me, and I would just like to thank everyone. If you like the video, please like the video. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon, and I'll be posting videos hopefully once a week currently to start off. So have a great day. Bye-bye.